Welcome to Talk is Cheap and the Press is Free. And today we're going to be talking about America at Risk, facts on governance, global policy, and the dollar. This is a statement of record of January 20th, 2026. If yous would like and could do, hit the like button and subscribe button and help a brother out. But without further ado, let's get to the story that we need to. This is a statement of facts. No rhetoric, no speculation, and no hyperboles. The following reflects public documented events, statutory law, and observable consequences. Section 1. International law and NATO commitments. The United States is bound by international law through treaties it has ratified. The North Atlantic Treaty, commonly known as NATO, is a legally binding agreement. Under Article 6 of the United States Constitution, treaties made under the authority of the United States are the supreme law of the land. They bind the executive branch. Article 5 of the NATO Treaty establishes collective defense obligations among member states. Public threats by a U.S. president towards NATO allies or statements conditioning defense commitments on economic or political leverage undermine those obligations. Treaties rely on good faith performances. A violation remains a violation regardless of whether enforcement or consequence immediately follows. This weakens U.S. credibility as a treaty partner. Section 2. Greenland. Public statements by the President. The President of the United States has made repeated public statements regarding the acquisition of Greenland. He has refused to rule out the use of military force. These statements are publicly verifiable. Reported statements include, well, we'll get Greenland. Yeah, 100%. I never take military force off the table. So, we'll go as far as we have to go. There's no going back. These are what Trump stated. He further stated that tariffs may be imposed on countries that do not agree to negotiations regarding Greenland, citing national security. Chief Trader Roberts gave him immunity. Reuters reported the announcement on tariffs on European countries, including Denmark and the United Kingdom, with increases threatened if an agreement to purchase Greenland was not reached. These are documented statements and actions, not made up. These are facts and not interpretations. Section 3. The dollar in the U.S. currency law. United States law defines the dollar as legal tender. Title 31, Section 5103 of the United States Code. States United States coins and currency, including Federal Reserve notes, are legal tender for all debts, public charges, taxes, and dues. Despite this, American corporations increasingly refuse to accept U.S. currency. This practice is observable in public venues, including major sports stadiums and commercial facilities, like football stadiums. You go see the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones take the American dollar, but not the Football Corporation Stadium. Violation. Cash payments are categorically rejected in favor of electronic systems. Can't you speak, sir? Sometimes, just sometimes, but it's early. Give me time. The statute does not distinguish between individual and corporate creditors. It does not condition legal tender status on convenience, technology, or policy. Again, not on convenience. When domestic corporations refuse U.S. currency, the statutory status of the dollar is undermined. And then when the president tries to make up a cryptocurrency, it further undermines it. Public access to lawful tender is reduced. Section 4. Economic risks. Observable consequences. If the U.S. allies or trading partners collectively reject the dollar, demand for the currency would decline. Devaluation would follow. Imports would become more expensive. Inflationary pressure would increase. Capital flight would raise interest rates. Domestic investment would decline, consumer purchasing power would fall, and recession would become likely. In extreme conditions, systemic economic instability could follow. Corporate behavior prioritizes financial survival. In such scenarios, corporations' self preservation amplifies harm to ordinary Americans. You know the lie they've been saying, it's not going on to the consumer in these tariffs? It's going on to you. If you believe these liars that continue to lie to you, you deserve to be lied to. That's how I feel about it. Section 5, Geopolitical Consequences and Strategic Beneficiary. Economic and diplomatic instability benefits U.S. adversaries. The primary strategic beneficiary of weakened U.S. alliances, eroded treaty credibility, and diminished confidence in American democratic institutions is the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. Russia benefits when NATO cohesion weakens, U.S. treaty commitments are questioned, U.S. intelligence agencies are publicly discredited, confidence in U.S. elections is undermined. These outcomes align with long-standing Russian strategic objectives. I did not make this up. This is a fact. Khrushchev said we will beat them without ever firing a shot. They already had that compromat, Donald Trump, in their pocket. Record, Helsinki Summit, subsequent contradictions. At Helsinki Summit on July 16, 2018, the President of the United States stated, I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be. This statement contradicted the conclusions of multiple U.S. intelligence agencies. Now all of a sudden he wants you to follow U.S. federal agencies to the fucking, without asking a question. But anyway, let's move further. Following public backlash, the president later stated that he had misspoken and claimed he intended to say, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia. And I'm going to prove that's a lie, too. This man continues to lie to you, and you keep on fucking letting him. This was presented as a correction. However, the president has since repeatedly stated that Russian interference in U.S. election and the investigations confirming it were a hoax. No apology. Called it a hoax. So he stood with what he originally said. It wasn't Russia, but it was. These claims remain part of his public record. A correction that affirms intelligence findings cannot coexist with continued assertions that those findings are fraudulent. In this context, the walkback does not function as an apology, it functions as a contradiction, aka a frickin' lie. Observable outcome. When U.S. intelligence assessments are simultaneously acknowledged and dismissed, institutional credibility is eroded. When Russian denials are elevated while U.S. democratic processes are discredited, strategic advantage shifts. The net result benefits the Russian state. This conclusion does not require proof of intent. It is established by outcome. This is my conclusion. These are publicly documented facts. They reflect a pattern of conduct with measurable consequences. Treaty obligations are threatened, currency law is undermined, economic instability is realistic risk, strategic advantages accrue to U.S. adversaries. History does not record intentions, it records outcomes. If the United States endures these tests, it will be due to the Constitution and the law and the actions of the American people, not Democratic elected fucking hiding in the box voting for ICE. Oh, we gotta stop ICE, let us vote to help keep it running. Tell me you're not a fascist without saying you're a fascist. Not executive power and not corporate self-interest. People, we need to wake up and start paying attention, because that's all we can afford at the moment. But today, I want to say God bless everybody. Get ready for this snowstorm. Be prepared. And remember, Talk is cheap and the press is free. Only if the people stand for it, G. God bless everybody, and God bless the US of A. Stay free, my people, and hit the like and subscribe button if you would, or if you could. Thank you, and have a great day.